All right, thank you, Mr. Ochoa, for meeting with me. So we're going to go over the post-conference of the observation, the second observation,
Okay.
and we're going to talk about the objective for the lesson was the identity and what other aspects of the what other parts, what other things were what did you want to accomplish with this lesson?
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So what other objectives did you have for this lesson? Was
Oh.
it was still identity?
Oh. Oh. No. It was based
Hello?
of the class is it's always like a reflection on the weekend. That's kind of like a team build. It's something that I do throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
Something that was modeled by a high school teacher of mine that really made we connect at least with the teacher and then with other people in the classroom. So I thought that was a really good strategy to build community consistently throughout the year. So I do community building activities at the beginning that are very specific, but doing the sharing of the weekend throughout the year, I think really lends itself to continue building that community relationship amongst everybody in the classroom. So it's like a long-term objective that's met every throughout the year, every single Monday. During summer school, during the regular school year. The second portion of the warm up, then I guess it was to connect the work that we're doing um, of identity
Got it.
to the film that they were going to watch in the second portion of the day, which is precious knowledge, and how precious knowledge and the ethnic studies program kind of lends itself to students being connected to who they are and where they come from. So it was kind of like a connection between you know the identity work, the film, and using it as a warm up. And then the last portion, which you saw part of the PowerPoint, that was more of a. It's obviously connected to identity, but more how our identity comes under attack and what the results are due to the fact that some students are disenfranchised, underserved,
Yeah.
etc.
Bringing perspective. That's great. So our focus was on your wait time, which we had talked about, and I noticed that you implemented some of the things that we talked about before, where you kind of gave them a little bit more time so that they can formulate their answers.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the effectiveness of the wait time you provided in this lesson in comparison to the lesson that I observed last time?
I think it was good. Just giving them a little bit more time just to process information.
Hmm.
Um, you know, I try to do that consciously. I have to take a step back. So it's not going to hurt. I think the best way the best way would be to kind of assess and ask the students, did you notice? I didn't do that, but that would be a good thing for future reference. To ask the students, okay, I did it this way. Did that give you a little more opportunity, a little more time for you to be able to gather your thoughts? I think that would be a good strategy.
Oh, that's great. So do you feel like it had a positive or a negative
Yeah,
impact on the learning?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, obviously positive. It's progress. It's not where we have to be, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's in the right direction.
Great. That makes sense. I really appreciate. I like the way that you gave them a little bit more time to like. I liked how you were explicit in telling them the amount of time they had. Is that some of the things that
Yeah.
you decided that you planned like consciously to kind of just give them that time? I remember
Yeah,
you said you
yeah,
have two
yeah.
minutes.
Yeah, based on the feedback you gave me, just take your time, gather your thoughts, come back to you, and obviously giving students an opportunity to just, but at the same time hold them accountable. You don't want them to think that no one's gonna call them. So I did a little bit more of that as well,
I
making sure the students were, not just the students who were raising their hand, it was just, and I actually I think I let some of the students know, hey, I'm gonna come to you, man. So get ready.
I noticed that too. I remember how you kind of give them a heads up so they can start planning and getting their thoughts down so they would be able to share out with the class. That I also thought was a great strategy. I also noticed that you would call on the students that volunteer, the ones that were ready, because I know that it makes sense to differentiate. And like you said, there's some of us think faster than others. So
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
that with one of your students that she was having a hard time formulating, and you kind of waited, uh, just took a volunteer while you let her continue
Mhm,
to develop her thought or her answer, and I thought that
mhm.
was a great strategy. So what kind of things do you feel like you're going to continue to use, or is there anything else that you see that would kind of continue to help you make sure that you're implementing white time effectively in your classroom? So like,
Well, I mean, in all honesty, you reflect as a teacher at the end of the lesson after a period, what went well, what did not go well, and then for the following class, you kind of implement those revisions to the lesson plan, based on whether you felt like you met your objectives or not.
mm-hmm,
So you give your, my first period class is a guinea pig, and they don't they don't receive the same kind of instruction or quality instruction as maybe my third or fourth period classes, based on the fact that I've already kind of enriched, revised, refined the lesson to the day. Um, but on top of that, that's just me reflecting on the things that I see, my analysis. I mean, the fact that you can observe objectively from outside,
mm-hmm,
and provide feedback. I mean, that's extremely important. And that's what admin is supposed to do, is instructional leadership. But the unfortunate reality, in my experience, the only time I've ever had that type of feedback, which it's not that difficult. And even this over the phone conversation, makes it easier for me and obviously easier for you. Um, it's really interesting, because there's no how can I say, you're not my supervisor, you know.
okay,
So there's no like especially a baggage. It's like you're actually, this is an exercise for you. You're trying to learn. You're trying to grow. You want to become an administrator. And I benefit from the fact that I get to go through this process. But on the school side, when an administrator is evaluated, you know, there's tension,
right,
involved, and in reality, that prevents room for growth.
yeah,
Then you become a dog and pony show.
yeah, it's
You're,
feels more
so
forced,
it's pretty, yeah, it's ineffective. So
yeah,
this is effective practice. If only we could find ways where
this could be
we could actually,
possible.
yeah,
That's
even
great.
peer to peer,
Yeah,
teacher to teacher with it.
peer
But
coaching.
yeah, but it's unfortunate, man. Like the way, then it's unfortunate that I don't get to experience this often. It's something making me think about some of the things that I don't notice because I'm busy trying to teach.
Mm-hmm. So overall, like as far as your wait time, what do you feel like would be something that you would like? Again, I think I've already asked this, but just to make sure that we clarify, as far as the wait time that you felt would be appropriate, what made you realize, okay, this is something that this is enough of a wait time for your students? Do you base it on the questions you ask, perhaps, or just depending on how
Yeah,
the
yeah.
responses of the students that you're getting overall?
My informal observations, I'm looking at the kids in their facial expressions,
Mm-hmm.
their eyes, their body language. I can tell, obviously some are very eager to share, and that's great. But I want them to kind of take a step back, because I want other people to participate.
Right.
So when I ask a question and I see a kid that looks perplexed, I don't care if even, for example, when I see I'll come back to you, if the student next to him kind of helps them, yeah, because I know they do that.
Well, that's a great strategy as well to
Yeah,
use each other as a way to help get that thought process going. For that,
yeah, and the kids are fine with that. They help each other, and I
right?
don't know if I use that this year. Sometimes, hey, man, get some help from right. That's okay. We'll get home for that. We're drag each other up. So those are things that I do, but it's just like in regards to, in comparison to the first observation, I found myself asking a lot of questions regarding them, and I can see,
Right,
how that could be problematic for the kids.
right. Because that's right. And then this time around, it seemed like you were taking. I noticed that you were actually pausing to give them that time to think in between the questions. And like you said,
Yeah,
like
yeah, I was
for
making a sense. Yeah.
yeah, I remember last time you said, yeah, I think really fast, so I was just kind of going with the flow of the discussion. But that's again when we were reflecting last time, you were referring to how you wanted to make sure that you gave them enough time.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. And lastly, I wanted to just throw out that resource that I shared with you, that Socrative. That would be a
Uh-huh.
great way to kind
Yeah.
of get more of them to interact, regardless if you know who they are. You can know who they are because they can write their name, but you can make it anonymous so that way they can share with the whole class, and then just you project it onto the smartboard, and they can read each other's questions, and pretty much you
Yeah.
can have a discussion off of that based on the responses that you get from there. So I don't know if that would be something you.
Yeah.
And again, it's
No,
quicker to set
that
up.
is something that I want to look into for the fall.
Yeah, so if maybe
Most
through the fall we can
definitely.
keep in touch, I can go and support you with that if you ever need any help.
Oh, that would, yeah, man,
And
that would be
I'm
cool actually.
dead serious about that because it's not that hard, it's difficult for me to set up, and we could just try to set up a time depending on how our
Yeah,
school calendars work out because we might have some days off that you guys don't, so I can always stop by and support.
all right, man, that sounds good to me. I'll take you up on that offer, man.
Cool. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I can
thank you
really
for supporting
appreciate
me.
that.
All right. You have a good